Olá, muito boa noite. Welcome to another podcast of Portuguese with Carla. This time, podcast 9.
9, lesson 9, podcast 9. Again, still free.
Yes.
You don't pay for anything.
Again, with another guest.
Oh, yes, we have another guest today, which is great. So, Who's the guest? Would you like to introduce the guest?
It's my cousin Liliana.
Hello, how you doing?
Nice.
Okay, cool. All right, so if you haven't heard this podcast before, just a little bit of an intro. This is a free Portuguese, European Portuguese course, if you will. And this is pertaining to PortugueseWithCarla.com. If you want the transcript for the chat that we're going to have today, you can access that at PortugueseWithCarla.com/podcast9. So I'll say that again, PortugueseWithCarla.com/podcast9. So you'll have a few other goodies if you go to that website.
Lovely. And today we have a scene in the restaurant or at the restaurant, and we so happened to be at a different restaurant we were meant to be.
Yeah, she recommended something, but that one was closed.
Yeah, Casa do Bolo do Caco. Yeah, unfortunately, It was closed. Okay, but this one is also nice. So let's see how this one goes.
So let me just put some ambient noise here. Here we go. All right then.
Lovely.
Olá, boa noite. É mesa para dois?
Boa noite, por favor.
E vocês têm preferência? Querem aquela ao lado da janela ou mais ali perto do bar?
O que achas?
Ali perto do bar deve estar muito barulho.
Mas perto da janela é capaz de estar frio.
Não está nada. Estamos na Madeira. Aqui a temperatura é sempre agradável.
Pronto, então pode ser a mesa perto da janela. Obrigada.
Ok, sem problema. Então podem sentar-se e eu já vos trago a emenda, tá bem?
Obrigado.
Gostei. O ambiente, a decoração, a música de fundo. Sim, senhor.
E para beber, já decidiram?
Para mim pode ser uma água mineral.
Fresca ou natural?
Natural, por favor.
E para mim, uma brisa de maracujá.
Ok, eu peço desculpa, mas de maracujá já não temos. Só de maçã ou de laranja. Ou então, se preferir, uma laranjada.
Então vamos para a laranjada.
E gelo, quer?
Sim, por favor.
E já agora, qual é o prato do dia?
Olha, temos espetadas de madeirenses, temos também sopa de trigo.
E peixe, tem alguma coisa?
Sim, e bife de atum.
Parece-me bem. E o que é que vem a acompanhar?
Batata doce e milho frito.
Ok, pode ser.
Com certeza. E para a senhora?
Eu vou querer a espetada madeirense, se faz favor.
E quer uma saladinha para acompanhar?
Sim, por favor.
Então eu já vos trago as bebidas, com licença.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Lilian.
Yes, that was nice. It was a bit longer, wasn't it, this dialogue, but it was pretty good.
A little bit longer than usual, but that's
few
fine.
lines.
We'll break it down. But I guess that we should say goodbye to our guest before we go into
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
Brilliant.
All right, see you later.
See ya.
All right then. So, let us try to see if we can make you guys or help you guys understand what we just said, as well as make you be able to pronounce it just like a native would, or as close to that as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so who started off? Okay, I guess she started.
You can go ahead, yeah.
All right. So she said, olá, boa noite. So if you've listened to previous podcasts, that should be familiar. But if not, olá, hello, boa noite, good night.
Good evening. Boa noite is both.
Literally good night, but yeah, it means good evening. Olá, boa noite. And then she asked, is it a table for two? É mesa para dois? So if you repeat after me, the number 2, dois, dois, almost like an X at the end, or SH, I guess. English would probably know that, or be familiar with it. Para dois, para dois, para dois. Is it table? É mesa, é mesa, é mesa para dois? Although she said para, which is a slight abbreviation of para.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, and then I go, boa noite, por favor. Good evening, please. That's straightforward, but I'll say it anyway, so you can repeat after me. Boa noite. Boa noite. Por favor. Por favor. Okay.
All right, so she said, e vocês têm preferência? And you, do you have a preference? Querem aquela ao lado da janela ou mais ali perto do bar? Do you want that one near or by the side of the window, or do you prefer the other one closer to the bar? So, let's do the first question. E vocês têm preferência? And you have preference? Preferência. Long word. Preferência. Preferência. Têm. Têm preferência? E vocês? E vocês? E vocês têm preferência?
Just a little note on that word, like Marlon pronounced the word têm. So it's very similar to têm. The only difference is the diacritic, the accent over the E. And that little accent makes a difference on the way you pronounce the word. So when there's no accent, it's the singular form. Você tem, you singular, one person. And when there is an accent, then it's for the plural you, vocês, or even they, eles. Têm. So repeat the sound. Têm. Têm. Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay, good. So, querem aquela ao lado da janela ou mais ali perto do bar? Perto do, close to. Perto do bar. So, let's do that. Bar. Bar. Perto do. Perto do bar. Mais ali. Muda. Mais ali. Mais ali perto do bar. In the beginning of that sentence, querem aquela ao lado da janela? Ao lado. Ao lado da janela. Janela. Window. Ao lado da janela. Do you want that one? Querem aquela. 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 Querem aquela ao lado da janela? Querem aquela ao lado da janela? Ou mais ali perto do bar? It's a pretty long sentence, so I guess it's easy if you're looking at the transcript.
Yeah.
Okay? And then it's you.
Mm-hmm. So I ask, que é que achas? What do you think? I could have said o que é que achas, but I dropped that O at the start. So it's irrelevant if you use it or not. You can or you can't, it's your choice. Que é que achas? Or que achas? Either way. Achas. Que achas? É que achas? Que é que achas?
Okay, good. So I say, over there near the bar will be pretty noisy, or should be pretty noisy. Ali perto do bar deve estar muito barulho. Barulho. Noisy. Barulho.
Noise.
Barulho. Muito barulho. Should be. Deve estar. Deve estar. Deve estar muito barulho. Ali perto do bar. There. By the bar. Do bar. perto. Perto do bar. Ali perto do bar. The whole thing. Ali perto do bar deve estar muito barulho. Okay.
But then I'm still unsure. So I say, mas perto da janela é capaz de estar frio. But near the window, it's possible.
It's possible
or it could
that it
be.
be cold.
It's capable of being cold, or it's possibly cold. Okay. So let's break it down or go slowly, starting off with the last word. Frio. Frio. Estar frio. De estar frio. É capaz. It's possibly. É capaz de estar frio. But near the window, mas perto da janela. Janela. Da janela. Perto da janela. Mas perto da janela é capaz de estar frio. See how I brought the de and the estar together? De estar frio. Because the E from de was silent, is silent, and the E from estar is also silent. So I'll bring the two words as if they're only one word. De estar. Rather than de estar. De estar. And the whole line again before you move on, Marlon. Mas perto da janela é capaz de estar frio.
All right, so I said, no, you won't be. We're in Madeira. Here the temperature is always pleasant. But I said, não tá nada. Não tá. Tá is not actually a word that you'll find in a dictionary. Está is one, but of course, Portuguese will rarely say the whole thing, so they'll just say tá. Não está nada. Okay, we are in Madeira. Estamos na Madeira. 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 Same word for wood. In fact, that's why Madeira is called Madeira. According to the legend, when Madeira was discovered, it was completely impenetrable because there was plants and bushes and trees everywhere. And so they set it on fire. And of course, the legend exaggerates the whole thing because it says, I'm probably going to say it wrong, but anyway, they left it for a long time, something like 2 years. And they came back and it was still on fire, so they left again. Yeah. It probably was not on fire for that long. But anyway, that's where the name comes from, Madeira, because it was full of wood.
Plenty of wood.
Anyway, where were we? Estamos na Madeira. We are in Madeira. Não está ou não tá nada. Não tá nada. Não tá nada. Estamos na Madeira. Aqui a temperatura é sempre agradável. Here the temperature is always pleasant. Agradável. Agradável. É sempre, is always. É sempre. É sempre agradável. Here the temperature. Aqui a temperatura. Long word. Temperatura. Temperatura. Aqui, a temperatura. Notice these, I think they're called, what kind of prepositions are they? They're to do with location or...
De lugar. Preposições de lugar. I can't really say it in English.
Yeah, positional prepositions, let's call them that. Aqui, I said that, and the 2 lines before you had ali. Ali means something that's... Imagine you're speaking to someone, that's someone B. Now I'm someone, let's call me A. Ali means the thing that you're talking about is in a position
Far
not
away
near
from
to
the TV.
either. Yeah, exactly. So it's in position C.
Ali
Whereas,
over there.
yeah. So as you say, aqui means it's near position A, position me,
Yeah.
or it's near me. And then you also have the third one, which is AE, which means it's near position B, or the speaker, or the person you're speaking to.
Exactly, yeah.
So you have AE, that's position B, aqui, position A, and ali, position C. Anyway, I without looking at positions, you probably are all confused now. But anyway, just thought I would add that to it.
No problem. Okay, so it's my line now, yeah?
Yep.
So I say, pronto, então pode ser a mesa perto da janela. Obrigada. Pronto. Pronto could be ready. Are you ready? Pronto. But in this context, it means pronto. Even the tone, it gives away. Okay, be it, so be it. Então pode ser a mesa perto da janela. Then it can be the table near the window. Thank you. Okay, so obrigada, we know. Janela. Perto da janela. Near the window. Perto da janela. A mesa perto da janela. Then we can have the table near the window. Então pode ser. Então pode ser. Então pode ser a mesa perto da janela. And the whole thing, pronto. Então pode ser a mesa perto da janela. Obrigada.
Okay. So she says, yeah, okay, no problem. Okay, sem problema. And then she says, então podem sentar-se e eu já vos trago a emenda. Está bem? So you can sit down and I'll bring you the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that all right? She says. Okay, so let's do the last bit. Should be fairly easy. Tá bem? Tá bem? Again, a bit of a
Abbreviation.
Yeah. It's the word está, trunked up or trunked down, I guess. Truncated? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Tá bem? Okay, the bit before. Então podem sentar-se e eu já vos trago a emenda. 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 Já vos trago. Já vos trago a emenda. Já vos trago a emenda. Já, you probably might be a bit confused now because já means now. So if you were to translate that word by word, she's actually saying, now you bring... Já vos trago, I'll bring you the...
I soon bring you.
Yeah.
I soon bring you. Oh no, I soon you bring.
Yeah,
the,
so I guess já in that context means soon or very soon. It's not now, but we use it in
already, like, yeah, very, very soon.
Yeah. Já vos trago a emenda the bit before. Então podem sentar-se. Sentar-se. Sit yourself.
Yeah, take a seat.
Sentar-se. Podem. Podem sentar-se. Podem sentar-se. Então podem sentar-se. Então podem sentar-se e eu já vos trago a emenda. And the very first thing she said, ok, sem problema. Sem problema.
Without a problem.
Without a problem. And I say, thank you. Obrigado.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so while she goes and gets our menus, I have time to look around, and I like it. I like the environment, the decor, the music in the background. So I express that by saying gostei. I liked it. Gostei. O ambiente, a decoração, a música de fundo. Sim, senhor. So again, that expression that we have mentioned before. And you can either say it, you can say sim senhora or sim senhor, doesn't really matter. all you're doing is expressing your approval, your contentment regarding a situation or a comment, in this case, the situation or the environment. Okay, so let's start off with that. Sim, senhor. The music in the background. A música de fundo. Fundo. De fundo. Música de fundo. A música de fundo. And the core. A decoração. A decoração. O ambiente. O ambiente, meaning the atmosphere, the environment. I suppose the atmosphere. O ambiente, a decoração, a música de fundo.
Okay.
Sim, senhor.
Sorry.
No problem. It's good.
And she said, e para beber and to drink, have you decided? Já decidiram? Again, the abbreviation from para to pra. Okay? So I won't be spending so much time on these because you've heard them, but we'll repeat them. E para beber, beber. Beber. E para beber, já decidiram? Again, the já.
Already decided.
Now, already, so já really
Have you already
has
decided?
loads of meaning, doesn't it? Já decidiram? Já decidiram? Okay.
Okay, so I know what I want. I want a glass of water or a bottle of water.
I guess you said mineral water, so you want a bottle.
Yeah. Para mim, pode ser uma água mineral. Mineral. Água mineral. Uma água mineral. Pode ser. Again, the expression we've used earlier. Pode ser. It can be. No, the expression we used this earlier was é capaz, right? So it's a different one. Forget about that one. So pode ser is it can be. Pode ser uma água mineral. Para mim, for me, para mim. Or para mim. Para mim, pode ser uma água mineral.
Okay, so that's a really important tidbit you can take away from this lesson. Whenever somebody asks you for a preference as to what you want, you could use that expression, pode ser, can be, and then whatever you want. Pode ser vermelho, red, if somebody asks you for a choice of color. Pode ser whatever you want. Anyway, there's something for you to memorize. Okay, so then she asks you, Carla, if you want it nice and cold, or if you want it at room temperature. So in Portuguese, you would say that fresca or natural.
Fresh or natural.
Yeah, fresh or natural. Fresca or natural. And you want?
Natural, por favor, as I've got very sensitive teeth.
Very good. And then I decide that I want something that in Madeira you should have if you go. It's a really, it's like pop, I guess. But it's a drink that you will struggle to find anywhere else in the world. E para mim, and for me, e para mim, uma brisa de maracujá. Okay, maracujá, passion fruit. Completely different.
Yes.
I was in the market in Madeira last week, as I mentioned, or I guess a couple of weeks ago. And they had, at least in one stall, they had 8 types of passion fruit.
Wow.
All different colors. I didn't try any of them, to be honest. We were in a bit of a rush. But Madeira is known to have really wacky fruits that you wouldn't see anywhere else. A bit like Brazil, I guess, but Brazil is a much bigger area. Anyway, maracujá. Maracujá. Uma brisa. That's the name of the drink, the company. Brisa. Uma brisa de maracujá. E para mim, uma brisa de maracujá. I could have said that. E para mim pode ser uma brisa de maracujá.
But no need to repeat ourselves, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the waiter, Liliana, says, okay, I apologize, eu peço desculpa, mas de maracujá já não temos, but of a passion fruit, we don't have it anymore. So já, in this case, is anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Only of apple or of orange. Or else, or then, if you prefer, a laranjada. Now, what's the difference between laranjada and um sumo de laranja? Or is it the same?
No. Laranjada is again, probably the second most well-known
Drink
sort
in
of
Madeira?
pop drink in Madeira. Yeah. It literally, you could say, if you weren't from Madeira, you could say, I want, you wouldn't say laranjada, you would say sumo de laranja.
Okay, so it is an orange juice.
It's
Fresh?
sort of. I'd be very surprised if there's any oranges in there.
Right.
No, it's very much a chemical infused drink, but tasty nonetheless.
So why do you know all these things about Madeira? Have you told the listeners? Do they know?
Did I? I don't know. I used to live there.
And your mum is from
my
Madeira,
mother
isn't
is
it?
from there.
Your mum's side.
So I used
think
to
you may
live
have
there for
told
a
me.
few years. It's a beautiful place, by the
Yeah,
way.
beautiful. Actually.
It's not the sort of holiday you would take a group of people just to stay at the beach. It's if you like landscape,
Flowers,
if you like,
gardens. It's beautiful, isn't it?
flora is amazing over there. There's some types of flowers and even birds that you don't see anywhere else in the world but Madeira. In fact, colloquially is also known as the Garden of the Atlantic Ocean. And recently, I think 2 years ago.
O Jardim do Atlântico.
Yes. And a year ago, I think it was, in a competition of sorts, it was rated as the best island to go on holiday to.
There you are. A
very
recommendation.
Yes, I would hardly recommend it.
Okay, so going back to this line of the waiter. All right, I apologize, but of passion fruit we don't have anymore, only of apple or orange, or else, if you prefer, an orange juice. Yeah? Or should I just stick to laranjada?
Is just,
Okay, laranjada.
Orange juice would be a different thing.
Okay, uma laranjada. Or else, if you prefer, se preferir. Ou então, se preferir. Ou então, se preferir, uma laranjada. And the line before that, only of apple or orange. Só de maçã ou de laranja. Laranja. Ou de laranja. Só de maçã ou de laranja. And the first phrase, ok, eu peço desculpa. Eu peço desculpa. I apologize. Mas de maracujá já não temos. But of passion fruit we don't have anymore. Não temos. Já não temos. De maracujá já não temos. Mas de maracujá já não temos. Everything put together. Ok, eu peço desculpa, mas de maracujá já não temos. Só de maçã ou de laranja. Ou então, se preferir, uma laranjada.
Okay. And so I decide to go for the laranjada. And I say, então vamos para... Actually said, vamos para laranjada. Notice how the para plus a becomes the pra, almost like a PRA with a diacritic on the A. So, então, you've heard this one many times, means so or then. Vamos para a laranjada. Vamos para a laranjada. All right?
So she asks, and ice, do you want? E gelo, quer?
Okay, so the formal way of asking someone. And I say, yes, sim, por favor.
So then I want to know about the food. And what is the... how do you
Dish of
say
the
it?
day.
No, but there's a... Is there a particular expression in English?
I'm sure there is, but we're blanking on it.
Yeah, we are. Okay, doesn't matter. But it's like the dish of the day. Sometimes it works out a bit cheaper, or is just a popular one.
Well, I guess because it'll be faster as well because they're cooking it all the time.
Yeah, so they've done more of it, I suppose.
Yeah, and it'll be generally
yeah.
cheaper, yeah.
So to ask that question, the special of the day, is it the day special?
Yeah, you could call it special. There's nothing special about it apart from they're doing it that day. But yeah,
Right.
people, restaurants.
But I think
would
that's how they
probably
say
do
in
that.
English. Okay, doesn't matter. I'm sure one of my students will tell me how.
Yes.
E qual é o prato do dia? Prato do dia. O prato do dia. And what is, and which is, literally which, qual. E qual é o prato do dia? E qual é o prato do dia? Okay. Do you want me to do that in the next line, or do you want to? You go ahead.
Okay. She said, olha, again, this expression you've come over, if you listen to our podcast, you've heard us
Although
a few
she was
times.
a bit informal, wasn't she? Because
Yeah.
it could have said ol. I think some Angolans say it like that, olha, and they don't mean to be disrespectful. They don't even mean to be informal. It's just natural to them.
And your cousin did live, well, she is from Angola and she did live.
She was born there, yeah, and her family, yeah, my aunties and my uncle, they're all from
See,
Angola. So.
another value added to this podcast. You get accents from all over the place.
You probably notice how she pronounces her L's. Her L's are quite stressed, are quite noticeable.
Okay. I didn't, but then again, I'm probably used to it.
You're probably used to it.
Yeah. Olha, temos espetadas madeirenses. So, espetada madeirense, that's probably the most well-known dish in Madeira. It's basically...
It's so nice.
It's beef chunks in what is skewer? Is that what we call it?
That's
Skewer.
right. Yeah, excuse. I was trying to think of the word.
It's really nice because they put this garlic butter on it. And,
Oh my goodness, I don't even want to think about
and
this.
I had some last week, but you didn't.
Okay, that's nice.
Anyway, temos espetadas madeirenses. So it's a good word to remember if you ever go there. Espetadas madeirenses. Although they probably use the singular version of that more often. Espetada madeirense. Temos espetadas madeirenses. They also had wheat flour. Oh, not wheat flour, rather. Wheat soup. Which is not what you might imagine. Anyway, I'll explain to you in a second.
But it's very tasty.
Temos também sopa de trigo. Sopa, soup. Sopa de trigo. De trigo. Sopa de trigo. Temos também, we have also. Temos também sopa de trigo. The whole thing? Olha, temos espetadas madeirenses. Temos também sopa de trigo. All right, so sopa de trigo. That is, yes, it does have wheat in it, but it is known for having everything else in the face of the planet on it. Mm-hmm. It has meat. It has all sorts of vegetables. It's potatoes. It's, I guess, potato. Is a potato vegetable officially?
Oh.
I guess it is. Anyway.
But I think every Portuguese soup has potato.
Yeah, they love to put potatoes in there. That's why. Anyway, yes, so it has everything. It's a really heavy soup, so it's a meal. You wouldn't really have anything else, or you'd struggle to have anything else if it was a real sopa de trigo.
I suppose you could have a bit of salad afterwards.
Yeah, there's bones in it as well.
Bones?
So, yeah. You'd often find bones in sopa de trigo.
Right.
So it's a bone broth as well, which is very healthy and in these days. And I say, and fish. Got anything else? Or got anything on fish? E peixe. Tem alguma coisa?
Anything.
Have anything? E peixe. E peixe. Tem alguma coisa? Tem alguma coisa? All right.
So then she says, sim, bife de atum. Yes, tuna steak. So don't be tricked by this word. Beef is not beef. It's not cow. It's steak. Sim, bife de atum. Atum. I'm just thinking of this advert. This Portuguese advert. It's an old one, isn't it?
I'll put it at the end of the podcast.
Okay. Atum. Sim, bife de atum. Okay, Marlon, over to you.
All right. Yeah. What do you call those words that sound like false friends? Is that what you call them?
Yes, yeah.
So beef would
They
be
sound
one.
alike, but yeah, they mean different things. Yeah.
They're quite. I guess there is a connection there because beef is often in the form of a steak. But anyway, so I'm quite happy with that option, but I want to know what it comes with. Sim, parece-me bem. Seems to me good. Parece-me bem.
Bem is literally well.
Well,
but yeah.
yes. I'm sorry, Carla.
No, I'm just
Parece-me
saying.
bem. And then I say, and what comes with it? Or what comes...
What accompanies it?
Accompanies it, yeah. O que é que vem a acompanhar? Slowly then. Acompanhar. Acompanhar. Vem a acompanhar. Comes accompanying it. O que é que? I probably said, well, in reality, if I was to ask that, which I would probably say, you kick. Okay? Trying to say that at, well, that sound, but a bit slower. You kick. You kick. Got that? You kick vem a acompanhar.
I would have said, o kick. You kick.
So you've been lazy than me, Carla.
Thanks. Okay, o kick vem a acompanhar.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the waiter says sweet potato and fried corn, batata doce e milho frito. Milho frito. Milho frito. Batata doce. Batata doce e milho frito.
There you go. We're giving you recommendations because milho frito is also another typical thing in Madeira. As you said, fried corn.
Yeah.
It might be. It comes in cubes.
Yeah. So it's not a cob.
Oh, it's not. Yeah. No.
A corn cob.
Yeah, it comes. I think they start off with a powder, of course, the
with the
milled.
flour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Again, everything that we mentioned is really nice. You just have to try it. So I said, okay, that's good.
It
Okay.
can be.
It can be. Okay, pode ser. Oh, we used that earlier, didn't we? Okay, pode ser.
So she says, com certeza. E para a senhora. She actually said, e pra senhora. Para a. The A from para with a single A. It made that A sound. E pra senhora. Com certeza means sure or with certainty. Sure thing. Com certeza. Com certeza. E pra senhora. Okay?
Yep.
Oh, it's my line.
Yes, yes.
I will want a Madeiran skewer, please. And, okay, I'll just read the line. Eu vou querer a espetada madeirense, se faz favor. So now you notice that I've said se faz favor rather than por favor. So that's just another way of saying please. And sometimes we actually pronounce it wrong. We don't say se faz favor. We drop the second F, the F from favor. We say se faz favor.
Yes. Yeah, so if you ever hear that, se faz favor.
I think that's the most common way, isn't it? Se faz favor.
Yeah.
Probably not very formal, but it's very common. Ok. Eu vou querer a espetada madeirense, se faz favor. Eu vou querer. I will want. Eu vou querer. Eu vou querer a espetada madeirense. Se faz favor.
Good. And she asks, do you want a salad with
A
it?
little salad.
E quer uma saladinha para acompanhar. Anything with inha at the or almost everything with inha at the end is just a
Equivalent of little, isn't it? It's a diminutive.
Just putting some sugar in it and making it
Cute.
cute. Yeah, that's right. That's the right word. Okay, so at the end you heard this word before. Acompanhar. Para acompanhar. She might have actually said para acompanhar.
Possibly.
Saladinha. Saladinha. If you don't want to cuten the thing up, then it's salada. Salada. So, e quer. And do you want e quer? E quer uma saladinha? The whole thing. E quer uma saladinha para acompanhar?
Sim, por favor.
Yes, please. And then she finishes by saying that she'll bring the drinks in a moment, and she excuses herself. Então, eu já vos trago as bebidas. Com licença. So at the end, excuse me. Com licença. With license, literally means.
Yeah, so she's asking for permission to leave.
With license. Com licença. As bebidas. The drinks. As bebidas. There goes the já again. Já vos trago. Já vos trago. What does it mean there?
I will soon.
Soon, yeah. Já vos trago. Já vos trago as bebidas. Então eu já vos trago as bebidas. Com licença.
Lovely.
All right, we got the it was quite a bit longer.
It was,
The
yeah, there was
previous
quite
ones.
a few lines.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we should say that we did mention throughout the podcast that we've done quite well. Not that many. This is only podcast number 9. If you want all the details for this podcast, including the transcript, then you would go to PortugueseWithCarla.com/podcast9. Okay, that's PortugueseWithCarla.com/podcast9. If you go there, there's extra reasons to stay because you will have, okay, it's good to listen to this and do the shadowing exercise, which we mentioned previously in previous podcasts, which is not just to repeat after us, but say things as we're saying it. So we would always encourage you to go back to the beginning and to repeat along with us until you can do it at that speed and understand what you're saying. But also on the link that I just gave you, you will find flashcards and games that pertain to vocabulary that we've covered, like batata or milho or window, whatever, all those things, beef. So, and it's a fun way of memorizing those things, okay?
Yeah,
so
more
you can get
enjoyable,
a sense
isn't
to
it?
There's also an audio quiz this week. I think it's me interviewing my mom about hanging clothes.
You were interviewing your mom?
Yes, or just having a chat with her.
Okay.
So let's see if you can understand.
Yeah, I think I remember that. That's
Okay,
good.
but we also have something else that we started doing this past week, or this week, I guess.
Sorry. What's that?
Okay,
Remind me.
I was referring to the YouTube.
Oh, of
Channel.
course. Yeah, because
We
now... Pardon?
No?
I was just going to say that the podcasts are now available on YouTube, aren't they? So people can go on YouTube channel. So that's youtube.com/Portuguese with Carla. And you can listen to the whole thing, and you can actually see the transcript on the video.
Yes.
So it's actually much easier, isn't it? Well, it is easy. It depends on what you're doing. If you can watch it, then you should. I think I've had comments already on it, and people seem to like it. Not actually on the video, but a friend of mine told me.
Yeah, that's right. So that would be another way of doing it. So that's, again, as Carla said, youtube.com/Portuguese with Carla. Although probably the best way to get these things regularly and automatically to your whatever device that you're using is to subscribe to the podcast. So if you go to the portuguesewithcarla.com/podcast9 or podcast whatever, you'll have a little sidebar there showing you how to subscribe. Or if you are used to podcasts, then you will find it in any podcatcher. It's just the Portuguese with Carla podcast. Now, just before we go, we did want to mention just why the structure of this podcast. Why is it that you hear us repeating things over again? And why is it that we go from the end to the beginning, going over the same words after a few seconds of just having said them? And this had to do with a chap that I'm just going to butcher his name now, Herman Ebbinghaus. How would you say his name?
Exactly like that.
Yes, okay. So he lived in the 1800s, 19th century. 1885, I think, is when he did this research on the forgetting curve, right? So, he came up with the idea that once you learn something, you forget whatever words. Let's talk about words because that's often what we discuss here in the podcast, quicker than you might imagine. So, for example...
So if you don't... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
If you don't reinforce it, then the longer you go without reviewing it, reinforcing it, then the more you will lose, or the least you are going to retain of whatever you try to learn in the first instance.
Yeah. So, for example, if we were to just read through this podcast and you were to repeat after us, if we had not repeated the words again and again, after 1 hour, so in an hour's time, you would remember only 44%. And that's, well, it's different for every person, of course, but this is what he discovered.
Based on his own memory, wasn't it?
That's right. But it turns out to be quite accurate for most people. You'd forget more than half of what you heard here if we had not repeated it. After 6 days, you'd only remember about 25%. You may have heard of Pimsleur courses, yeah? Quite popular. And they are good courses. They do something similar to what we do. Pimsleur is the name of the chap who came up with this idea of repeating things. He said that if you want to remember something, and he obviously was teaching languages, then you should start with repeating after 5 seconds of the initial exposure, 25 seconds, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 5 hours, a day, 5 days, 25 days, then 4 months, then 2 years. And the idea was that if you could remember this, or if you could repeat in this pattern, you'd remember almost everything that you initially heard.
Yeah.
So I think the figure goes up to something like 92%.
Yeah, I often mention to the students, and whether you're self-teaching, whether you're having lessons with me or anybody else, that's something that you should always do. You should always go back and review the material. Have a vocabulary book, write all the words and expressions you're learning, and every so often go back to it. Read it. Don't try too hard and memorize each word. But if you do it every day, and if you do it like Marlon just said, I don't know, every hour or to start with, or it wasn't like that, was it really? It was just after 5 seconds later, 25 seconds, 2 minutes, and etc. If you do that, it's amazing how much information you can actually retain.
Yes.
So please do it. You will. I know it's hard to remember, but you must remember to repeat, and you must repeat to remember.
Yeah, wow. There's of course fun ways and boring ways of doing this. So, for example, when we say go to our website and do the flashcards, well, again, you're repeating it. And it's a fun way. There's actually a game. We can join the pictures to the words. So it's not a difficult game, but it'll help you to remember, put that back into your mind. But just to give you an idea, for example, if you just heard once, then in 80 days' time, you'd remember pretty much nothing of what you've heard in this podcast. Now, if you had just repeated once the words, so initially, the initial exposure, then one repetition or one reminder, in 80 days, you would remember almost 40%. Okay, so it's exponential. The more you repeat,
The more you'll
by the
remember.
fourth time you repeat this, and again, leave a gap, then you will remember these things
Even more so.
even more so, yes.
Yeah,
That's
you will
absolutely
retain them. Yeah. So we wanted to say thank you, didn't we? Because obviously this time we did a podcast and it was pretty good. It did sound like we were in a real restaurant, but we weren't, were we? So you used that sound effect, that background sound effect, which was wonderful. And to whom should we thank this
I
to?
should give credit to superstudio.com.br for that. I appreciate that. So, yes, thank you very much. Good. So, I think that's it. It's a pretty long podcast. We're almost at the hour mark. Not quite.
But I mean, who isn't? Everyone who's going to Portugal or a Portuguese-speaking country, these countries where we speak Portuguese are very good when it comes to their cooking. So I'm sure everybody will want to try a restaurant in these places. So it's useful information.
Yes. And of course, next week we'll carry on in the same vein. So we will stay at the restaurant and maybe tell you what we thought and perhaps think about numbers as well, because we're going to be paying for our bill. Okay. Although I don't know what we're going to do because your cousin's not around. We'll come up with something. Maybe she'll be, I don't know.
We'll find a way. Maybe we'll get another waiter to come and see us. She wasn't feeling very well.
Maybe she got sick. She's pregnant. Anyway.
Oh, goodness.
So let's put the end jingle here.
All right.
Good.
Thank you.
All right,
See you next time.
week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I think I found that video that you were on about, that really old advert.
Right. Batido de atum.
Yes.
Tuna milkshake. Now, how lovely does that sound?
But you can say, I mean, if you want to, sort of impress people, every sort of generation our age, so anyone born in the 80s, I guess, will remember this. Absolutely everyone. See if I can play it for you.
Filhotes, a mãe vai chegar mais
Someone
tarde.
calls in to
Hoje quem
say
faz
she
jantar
can't
é
go
o
home
Pedro.
to cook. So Pedro is
Baril, batido de atum para toda a gente.
Tenha sempre em casa as novas Top Pizzaria Pesca Nova, mesmo ao gosto dos seus filhos, estreladiças e com mais queijo.
Pesca Nova.
Sai bem.
You still remember the music? Pesca Nova is like, I don't know if it's a Portuguese brand or not, but they do any
Sounds like it.
like frozen fish and whatnot. Hey, I don't want you to play any more videos. Stop. Is that the one you were thinking about?
No, it's not that one. He stresses the word atum. It really rings in your brain, in your mind, atum.
Okay. I know. It's gato fedorento, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Stinky cat.
Stinky cat. Smelly cat.
Smelly cat.
Smelly cat.
No, Stinky cat is gato fedorento is a well-known sort of comedy sketches series. 4 guys. One of them actually became quite a well-known comedian in time. Let's see if I can find. This is all really funny for us that we understand, but this sketch is a silly interview. Here it is, with a chap that is supposedly an expert in tuna.
Tuna fish.
Mais do que isso. Não, é mesmo só um peixe.
So he's going to interview
Temos
the
hoje
guy.
connosco
He's going to sit
o Sr.
down.
Manuel Moreira,
He presents him.
maior
Manuel
especialista
is his
português
name.
vivo em atuns.
The most
Boa noite, Sr.
expert.
Manuel Moreira.
Boa noite.
Fale-nos um pouco do atum, por favor.
Tell us a bit about it too.
Eu pesco atum!
That's the one.
Sou um apaixonado por atum! Sou naturalmente contra qualquer lei que impeça
Anyway.
o matrimónio entre o homem e o seu
I'll put the
atum.
link in the.
É uma vergonha viver num país em que isso acontece.
Claro.
Anyway, it's not even the point what he's saying. It's just the
Para as
way he's
pessoas
saying.
perceberem lá em casa qual é o aspecto de um atum.
Ora, ainda bem que
I
faz esta
think
pergunta, porque eu trago
you can put
justamente hoje
the
aqui comigo
link.
um atum! Da cá, Ramírez.
It shows him what does the tuna
then they
look
can
like. So
watch
he
it.
picks up a dog.
Um atum pesquei hoje. Um atum!
He fished the tuna and he grabbed the
Isto é um
dog.
atum.
É um atum!
Make sure
parece
the
nada
people
atum.
watch they get the
Parece-
link
não
so they
parece um
can.
bacalhau.
Put the link in.
Só que o bacalhau é maior e relincha.
Anyway,
Ramírez.
I'll leave it at that because this is.
Yeah, it's funnier if you watch it and.
But it's funny if you know what he's saying. But yeah, if you want to try and figure out
Well,
what
that's
he's
another
saying.
exercise. That's good.
I actually, because I've got some of their DVDs. I actually gave my DVDs to somebody who was trying to learn Portuguese. The Gato Fedorento series, got 3 or 4. Yeah, it didn't work
All right. Yeah.
because they just speak.
I suppose
way
you
too
have to
quickly.
appreciate. Yeah, you have to have some level of Portuguese and appreciate that sort of humor.
And Portuguese comedy is quite different, I would say, from British comedy. But these guys are pretty good.
There's
Anyway.
some similarities, and yeah, I'm not big on this kind of humor, but there are a few sketches I do find funny.
Sabe, eu acho que isto não é um atum.
I don't think this is.
Não é um
tuna.
atum!
Is it not tuna?
Estou convencido que isto.
Vem-me agora um menino da cidade
Anyway,
ensinar-me a mim sobre o que é um atum.
See you next time.
A mim,
Enjoy.
All right, bye.
40
Bye.
anos na feina!
Não, desculpa, há 40 anos na feina não anda porque claramente o senhor não tem mais de 27.
Há 27 anos na feina!
Não anda há 27 anos na feina, não nasceu e foi para a feina, quer dizer, isso é impossível.
Há 22 anos na
Não
feina!
anda há 22 anos na feina, não vai com 5 anos para a feina, não,
12 anos na
não
feina!
vai. Aos 15 anos ninguém anda na feina, desculpa.
2 semanas e meia na feina!